Open Your Eyes is brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I am Isani Kayatano.
And welcome to our Thursday edition of Open Your Eyes. It's a beautiful day outside, not too hot.
Not too hot just yet.
Not too hot yet. But I was going to say not too chilly, but also it's not chilly at all. But yes, it's a beautiful day outside. And if you're just getting ready for work and listening to us this morning, thanks for tuning in with us. If you're already at work starting your morning right, thanks for starting it with us as well. Isani, we have quite a few topics to jump into this morning.
Yes.
Aside from our show lineup, there's quite a few developments to some of the very topics that we spoke of in the week this week. I can tell you from the top, we do know that the fire situation is still very much pressing. I have to say kudos to our colleague Marian Ali that did an extensive report this week in her explainer piece to provide an overview of what's exactly taking place across the country, specifically in the District of Toledo as it relates to brush fires.
So we've been covering the issue of wildfires across the country for the better part of the last 2 weeks or so.
Right.
And we've been documenting the efforts from various agencies, the National Emergency Management Organization in southern Belize, and of course the Forest Department and Fortis and other agencies in the western portion of the country. And so while we've been covering these stories, essentially what we're doing is putting the spotlight on the environment, because at the end of the day, we're looking at thousands of acres of land that are being destroyed by fire.
Right.
And within those lands are areas that are occupied for agricultural purposes and areas that are occupied for residential purposes and the areas that are unoccupied. But it's safe to say that we're looking at a situation where persons who have been following these developments historically are saying, look, this is the worst it's ever been in terms of the devastation that we're experiencing, right? Today, we have 2 teams that are deployed.
Look at that there,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Today we have 2 teams that are deployed across the country. One team is heading south to look at what NEMO is doing in terms of providing the kind of assistance that residents and farmers need in the Toledo district. And another team is heading out west, where they will be joining the effort that's taking place in Mountain Pine Ridge. Now, we haven't really been focusing on Mountain Pine Ridge as much as we've been focusing on what's taking place in Toledo district. And some would say, well, the occurrence in Mountain Pine Ridge is an annual thing. I know that over a decade or so ago, I did a story where the Pine Ridge was under fire. And the thing about it is because it's a swath of unused land that is being destroyed by fire, while efforts are being made to extinguish as much of the flames as possible, you have to understand that in the case of Pine Ridge, there are resorts and other areas, other businesses and buildings there that can very well be damaged.
In the Cayo district in general, it's heavily looked upon as a tourism destination.
Yeah.
So it would be of concern, as you mentioned, to various businesses, but also residential areas too.
Yes. So we have 2 teams that are heading out there. This is part of our ongoing coverage. It's one of the first, I would say, during this time of year that we were actually focusing on the extent of wildfires. I know that annually we also do cover fires along the George Price because that's where you see it more often than not.
Right.
But to say we're providing extensive coverage, indeed, this feels like it's the worst we've had in quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was just in Toledo yesterday covering a story for my Bright Side this week, and I was telling you this morning that I observed for the first time how devastating the fire was leading up to a high school in Punta Gorda town. And I was even able to see that there was one of the electrical posts that fell because of the fire. Of course, this is on the highway, but I can't imagine what could have been the result of that. Of course, when we think of electrical wires, that's also another cause for concern. It can also cause further fires too. So I think this has been quite an interesting year as it relates to forest fires. I have not been here long enough in this business or long enough in general to know how much fires we have covered over time, but I do know that this is one that I will probably remember for a very long time.
Just to share a bit of my history, having worked on these kinds of stories before, I recall it would have been in 2012. I did a story where we traveled to the climbs of the Mountain Pine Ridge when there was a serious wildfire that the country was battling, and the government at the time expended quite some resources in trying to get that situation under control. And when it finally did, when you look back at the extensive damage, you're talking about acres as far as your eyes can see in any direction. And this is my recollection of being in a fire tower looking out onto the hillside and what have you. And it's interesting to take it all in.
Yes.
It can be a bit overwhelming when you look at what used to be lush greenery is now charred black dirt, basically. And in that particular case, it's simply nature taking its course.
Yeah.
The idea of destroy and rebuild, so to speak. When that happens, the rains come several weeks, if not a few months later, and everything grows anew.
Yeah. And you mentioned something I think really important. You mentioned that one, it's interesting to look at, but it can also be overwhelming. And at this time, I think we're all thinking of these farmers that use their farmlands that are obviously destroyed at this point or being destroyed for their own livelihoods, Isani. As you mentioned, this is nature taking its course, but for a lot of these farmers, this is also their bread and butter being completely removed from them, from their homes. It's their livelihoods. This is their means of survival. So I think this will also be an interesting time to see how these communities try to rebuild themselves back. We do know that if you know what agriculture means when it comes in this situation, it's great for the soil, but still your livelihood is removed because of fire. And these are people who would have invested a lot of money, if not all of their money, in their property, in their in their farms. So our thoughts are with them at this time. As Isani mentioned, we are deploying 2 teams in different parts of the country, in the south and in the west, to take a look at what's further taking place and, of course, the response from the government of Belize.
So our other buzzing topic, which is equally as fiery, no pun intended, is our headline item that we began our newscast with yesterday.
Yes.
The arraignment of 33-year-old Devane Flores for the horrendous act that he carried out on this 3-year-old child earlier this week. And I'll step aside from my reporter, news director hat for a second and speak as a parent. When I saw this video the first time, like I just had goosebumps, right? And I'm a bit emotionally disturbed by it simply because I have a 5-year-old son, right? And much like my daughter, he means the world to me. And I can't see myself in a position where I would inflict that kind of harm or injury to a helpless, defenseless child. I mean, it's beyond me.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that others share the same sentiment. Enough for the Commissioner of Police, who is an attorney, but he's also a prosecutor, to take on this matter. The sheer, I don't know how to describe it, perhaps I'm at a loss of words, but it angers many of us when we see this, right? And while all of these agencies have wasted no time in condemning the act altogether, UNICEF has come forward, the Ministry of Human Development has come forward, I believe NCFC and the Special Envoy will do so in due time as well. But when you look at this situation, and you look at the fact that whatever it is the child may have done or not have done, he's not deserving of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You don't even do that to dogs or animals for that matter. Why a 3-year-old? You know, and so in the courtroom yesterday, Commissioner Williams was the prosecutor, and he was pushing, look, let this not simply be a charge that is brought upon this individual and he gets fined and there is no custodial sentence that accompanies the outcome. And so because of that, they upgraded the charge to a more serious matter.
He was formerly charged with common assault, correct?
Yes. Initially common assault. Now it moves up to cruelty to a child. Which on the books, it carries a minimum of 10 years in prison.
Wow.
Right? And so while the prosecution may be pushing for this, the ultimate decision rests with the magistrate. Right? And so it's in her discretion that a sentence will be determined. Nonetheless, Mr. Flores was remanded until June 3rd, when he will be able to bring forward his witnesses and what have you to speak on his behalf. But in short order, there's been a conviction simply because Mr. Flores admitted to and pled guilty to this act that was captured on camera.
I think based on the coverage that was provided yesterday, what stood out to me in that story was the fact that it was mentioned that the mother of the 3-year-old initially did not want.
She was reluctant in the first instance.
Yeah, she was reluctant in the first instance to press charges, and she had to essentially be convinced of how serious this matter is.
Yeah.
And for me, and I think the Commissioner of Police also mentioned that, I don't know what was going through her mind, Isani, but I don't know that any parent should be thinking about their partner if their child was abused, whether it's the biological parent or a step parent or even a close friend. If your child was harmed in any means by another individual, you should always look out for your child first. So I'm not sure where the justification or where her thought process came from for not wanting this situation to go further. But I'm happy to know that she was later convinced to allow the process to take shape and of course justice be heard for her child.
So I'm hoping, and this is a question that I put to the compol afterwards, I personally am hoping that this sends a strong signal to anyone who is presently physically or otherwise abusing children, or anyone who's even conceiving the thought that this is the manner in which we must deal with kids who may not be in line or whatever the case may be. You know, going back to what I'm saying, as a parent, I think twice, 3 times, or the thought that doesn't even cross my mind most of the times, that I would either pick up something and hit, or I would kick her or punch or bite her. Never a thought in my mind. There has to be a different approach to dealing with kids.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a conversation that I was actually having with Paul on Tuesday. It was about where does discipline transition into actual abuse. A lot of us come from the generation of our parents using discipline in physical forms, where we would get spanked. Some would know about the belt, but we're looking at a generation where parenting and disciplining is looked upon differently. There are other measures that you can go about giving your kids, showing your kids that there are consequences for their actions. So I think that's a conversation that we were also having. I also go back though to the point that you were mentioning, Isani, about you wouldn't even hit an animal. I don't even think you should hit an adult in that way. In regards to the strong message that this should be sending, I think it should be beyond physical abuse. Any forms of abuse. This example here should set an example of what Belize feels about abuse in all its forms.
There's a moral argument that some people would have. They would put forward, hey, well, it's in the book. Spare the rod.
Spoke about that too, yeah.
Right? But those are times long gone.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't take everything that's in the good book literal. You have to find a more amicable way to deal with certain situations, and that's my position on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we're all just waiting until Mr. Flores is back in court to see what will be the official outcome of this. Will he be facing 10 years in prison, if that's the least that he can possibly get? I'm interested to see what will be the end of this particular case.
So yes.
But speaking of cases, Isani, there's also another hot pressing topic that was in the news.
Yes. This has to do with a woman who has come before the court before, and if I were to take what the Commissioner of Police said yesterday, she's no stranger to law enforcement. Nonetheless, Doris Grant's property in Gardenia Village was totally ran through by a team of police officers who carried out a raid. I'm not certain what they were looking for, but in the process completely ransacked her premises. Now, admittedly, she does not live there. She says it's her farm home, so to speak. She lives in another part of Belize City. But earlier this week, it would have been on Monday, we carried a news item where she had been charged with 40 counts of obtaining property by deception, right? And this particular raid comes on the heels of that. What we're not able to determine just yet is whether the two things are
connected
in any way related. Yes, right? What is very much interesting about this is what I understand was said off camera and off record in terms of the names that were being called and so on and so forth. I'm in no liberty to share that. That was a conversation that was held otherwise, but names are being called. And I think...
As in Doris Grant is calling these names?
Yes, in an unofficial off-the-record capacity, in terms of persons who may or may not be involved. I'll use it as vague as possible, a description, right? But this warrants a thorough investigation. That's what we're saying. And yesterday when we spoke with the Commissioner of Police, he mentioned he was unaware that an operation such as this had taken place, which many of us found curious because the Commissioner of Police, we all know, I wouldn't go as far as saying he's a know-it-all, but
he's quite involved.
It's next to impossible that something of this sort would happen and he does not know, right? So we found that very, very curious, but I'll leave that there.
All right. Well, so what happens now? Because she did, the commissioner did share that he advised her if she felt that her rights were violated to take it to the professional standards branch. So do we know if there are any other steps taking place since this actual ordeal?
I understand that she's being represented by Attorney Dickie Bradley. So I guess the rest would be on advisement from him as to what the course of action should be going forward.
All right. Well, we'll follow it up if we get any further updates. All right. Well, that does it for our What's Buzzing topics. And as always, please engage with us in the comments section. We want to know your thoughts. If you have any suggested topics that we can discuss as well, we might do so too. Moving now into our eye-opener for your daily dose of morning motivation. And our eye-opener is taken from dailyom.com. And Isani, why don't you take it away this morning?
I'll try my best, given my throat situation. Here we go. When you make a leap of faith, you can accomplish almost anything you set out to do. There will likely be times in your life when your soul evolves more quickly than your circumstances. Your subconscious mind may be ready to move forward long before you recognize that you are destined to embrace a new way of life. Your soul intuitively understands that changing habitats can be a vital part of the growth process, and there may be one part of you that is eager to move to another home, another state, or another plane of existence. But the ties that bind you to your current mode of being can make moving into this next stage of your life more challenging than it has to be. When you are ready to match your situation to your soul, you will find that you feel a new sense of harmony and become increasingly connected to the ebb and flow of the universe. Moving on can be defined in numerous ways. Your forward momentum may take you from your current locale to a place you instinctively know will be more nurturing, comfortable, and spiritually enriching. Once you arrive, your misgivings will vanish, and you will know that you have found a sanctuary. Similarly, subtle changes in your values, goals, or emotional needs can motivate you to distance yourself from one group of people in order to reassociate yourself with individuals who are better able to support you. The route you need to travel may not always be clear. You may feel inspired to change, yet be unsure as to why or how. Moving from one point to another, when you feel strongly driven to do so, is a way of bringing your spiritual and earthly energies together. It is a two-step process that involves not only letting go, but also reconnecting. You will know you have found your destination, physical or otherwise, when you feel in your heart that you have been reborn into a life that is just the right shape, size, and composition.
This is an interesting
Yes,
eye-opener,
it is.
especially since we spoke about Earth School yesterday. I feel like now we're able to merge those two things together with spiritual guidance.
Yes.
Or, you know, that intuition, so to speak. I know that we don't have much time to spend on it, but I have to say this was a really interesting eye-opener. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, the idea of taking a leap of faith in and of itself is profound to me, because oftentimes we're faced with certain decisions that we're not sure of what the outcome would be, but we're required to take action. And that action is a proverbial leap of faith. You do that in marriage, you do that in your professional life, you do that in friendships with people.
In business.
You have to take risks, right?
Yeah.
And without risk, there's no reward.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're hoping you were able to get some lesson from this eye-opener, and if you have, let us know in the comments. We might be able to engage with you there too. Moving now into our weather update for, of course, your morning weather update. And we have that update from the folks at the National Meteorological Service.
Good morning. Seasonably warm and dry weather will continue for the next few days. The 24-hour forecast is for mostly sunny and warm conditions today, but hot inland this afternoon and partly cloudy skies tonight. Little or no rain is expected. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be choppy. Maximum temperatures today will be around 90 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 101 inland, but only 84 up in the mountains. A heat alert for inland areas will likely go into effect by midday. The outlook for Friday and Friday night is for similar weather conditions. There is a high tide at 9:09 this morning, a low at 4:41 this afternoon, another high 10:59 tonight, and another low at 3:44 tomorrow morning. The sun rose at 5:18 this morning and will set at 6:20 this evening. The moon comes up at 6:45 this evening and goes down at 5:56 tomorrow morning. In the fire risk forecast, the risk for forest and brush fires remains high. In the sargassum update, the chances of more sargassum mats affecting coastal locations remain high. With that, we end this report from the Belize Weather Bureau.
Update from the folks at the National Met Service. Moving now, though, Isani, into our show lineup. We have 3 great conversations to look forward to. Starting things off, we'll be joined by representatives from the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, who will be talking to us about domestic market supply and the harvesting of carrots.
In our second segment, we'll be speaking all about women in management under the age of 30.
That's an interesting
So that's a
one.
conversation I want to have.
Yeah, same
and
here.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, in our final conversation, it's all about a fundraiser from the Kidney Association of Belize. Again, we have great conversations to look forward to, but we got to take that first break. And when we come back, it's all about updates from the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
Discover a shopping experience like no other at the V Department Store. They carry a vast array of products at unbeatable prices. Elevate your shopping journey with affordability, diversity, and accessibility at the V. Conveniently located at 1745 Coney Drive in Belize City.
13,835,700 eggs are eaten by tourists each year, fueling our thriving economy. Tourism means business.
I'm David Humes. This is Vanessa Humes. We own Littlefield Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
With the steady increase in prices, it's hard to hold on to your hard-earned cash. Well, here at Benny's, prices are steadily falling, making it easier to stretch your dollars. Prices are slashed on roofing, Glycem, nails, rebar, paints, lumber, and other products for your construction needs. And with fantastic discounts going on right now, get store-wide deals on select products from now through September 30th. Visit a Benny's store near you today where the prices just keep on falling. Benny's, quality and savings.
What if I told you that your singing talent can earn you $10,000? What if I told you that you can stop singing in the shower and sing live on one of the biggest stages in Belize?
Let's go. I'm gonna love you forever.
Still not sold? Well, what if I told you with all that's offered, you can attract fans and supporters from all over the country? So, are you ready to be part of the most exciting singing competition in Belize? It's time for KTV The Remix Season 6. Auditions will take place on Saturday, June 1st and Sunday, June 2nd. So mark your calendars and come show us how good you are. This is your chance to make it big and win big. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
And welcome back. For our first conversation this morning, we have been joined by the Controller of Supplies from the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, none other than Lennox Nicholson. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome. How you doing?
Thanks. I am well. I'm not a morning person, but I'm surviving.
Well, you know what? After a few days of joining us, you will be.
Okay. So, we're here to talk about sugar.
Yes.
How sugar is distributed across the country. And I want to use the word perceived because I'm not sure exactly at this point what the actual reality of the matter is.
Good.
The perceived sugar scarcity. Let's begin by talking about how sugar is distributed in the domestic market.
Sure. So first things first. The last time I appeared here, we were discussing some sugar matters having to do with some regulations, and to a certain extent, we were in quarrel mode. On this occasion, I want to take a different tact because, to be frank with you, Isani, I don't think the people who go to purchase sugar are much interested in bickering or assigning blame. What they want is to ensure that when they go to make a purchase, product is available and it's available at a reasonable price. Right. So I think that the bulk of our focus has to be on that. That is the end game. That is in our interest. That is in the mill's interest. That is in everybody's interest. So I think that should be first and foremost in our mind. Having said that, though, there is a perception that we need to correct, which is some suggestion or indication that somehow or the other it is the government that controls the distribution of sugar on the domestic market. I want to make it abundantly clear that the supply and distribution of sugar in the local market is an entirely private sector driven activity. So private sector enterprise determines how much product goes out, who is on the list to distribute that product, what quota each one of them have. If any of those entities get out of line, whatever disciplinary mechanism there is between the mill and those buyers, it's completely run by them. I have the list of entities that purchase sugar directly from BSI, and I had to request that from the private sector partner. So from start to finish, it is a complete private sector activity that has been happening. There are, based on the list that we have, some 76 entities that purchase directly from the mill, and that can be broken down into several categories. The first set would be your industrial users, so people who would make juices and things of that nature would purchase product directly from them. There are some retail outlets that have a direct supply access at BSI, and then there are the middlemen who purchase that product and then in turn distribute it throughout the country. So that is how the supply mechanism for both white and brown sugar works in the country.
So where then did the perception or the misconception rather come from that the government is responsible for what we are calling a shortage in sugar supply?
Well, I think that is rooted in some proposals that have been made to the government. In terms of proposals designed to remedy or alleviate the particular situation. And those proposals suggest that the price in our neighboring countries is here. And the price on our market is here.
Yeah.
And there's this gap. And because of that gap creates an incentive for people to, for want of a better term, contraband the product out of the market. So what that proposal calls for is us reducing that gap, right? To create less of an incentive for the product to move across the border. So when those proposals are discussed publicly or shared with the public, it is normally couched in terms which suggest that if the government does not act, then this problem will continue. So what that ends up inadvertently doing, I don't think it's intentional. I think it's inadvertent, is that it leaves people with the impression that government is in full control of the supply and distribution of product on the local market, which is not the case.
Equal to that, though, is a separate conversation that would suggest that in order to reduce the gap, that the price or the cost of our sugar on our local market needs to go up.
Yes.
And I don't know that that's a conversation that many of us consumers are comfortable having, because it means more per pound of sugar than we're already spending.
Right. And here is where the rub is, right? Because there is often a suggestion that the government is not considering a particular step. The idea that you're not considering something is different from you considering it and not pulling the trigger on that decision. They are two completely different things.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that our ministry and the government as a whole is takes very serious any action or decision that will result in the Belizean consumer having to spend more money.
Yeah.
It is not to say that it won't be done, should not be done, cannot be done, but it's something that you have to take very seriously, because if you say that the price in Mexico is here, the price in Belize is here, and you need to close that gap in order to stop the contraband, then the rational question is, how much of that gap do you need to close?
Yeah.
You can't put a proposal to us without giving some indication of that. And in order for you to accept it and adopt it, there has to be some indication that there's a high probability that that will succeed, or else you will end up in a situation where the price goes up and you still have the supply issues.
Right.
So it is not that you're not considering things, it's just that certain information must be on the table. You see, when there are proposals to increase prices on the Belizean consumer from my office, one of the key things we do is look at impact. Okay, I used to go through the Hummingbird, and there was a lady that used to come on the bus and sell bread and bun. Right? So when we look at these things at my office, we ask ourselves the question: if this lady uses 15 pounds of brown sugar for the week, 60 pounds for the month, and we take up the price from X to Y, how much will that increase our cost?
Yeah.
And
how much will the bun eventually cost?
Right. We have a responsibility to consider that. So yes, you have proposals from major entities, but at the end of the day, we always have to bear in mind impact on people like that lady who is selling the bread and butter, and people who actually go to the store to purchase. Now, it is not to say that I think both the Prime Minister and my Minister have made certain statements on the need to revise the prices, and so we are doing that process. But in all things, we must consider impact, right? And there are certain key pieces of information that you need. I think if you're going to ask the Belizean consumer to pay more for sugar, we should have an indication of what it costs you to produce that product. And the problem, what I find going back in the records from the last time sugar prices were reviewed, there was not sufficient consideration given to, okay, fine, we have a particular problem right now where the prices in the neighboring republics are very high.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens 7 years from now when those prices moderate? Will we get a letter asking us to reduce the price? Those things have to be built in because nobody think about 7 years from now, but then 7 years come and then there is no plan. So those are some of the work that we have to do.
Here's also a reality. For many of us, when it comes to consumerism, what goes up seldom comes down. So if we're looking at adjusting the price by increasing it without having a plan 7 years from now, then that price essentially remains fixed.
The economists who are much smarter than I am, they call it price stickiness, no? And it's fascinating to me, as someone who with some training in economics, how some of our people, when they speak about markets and so on, and economics, there are some aspects like these concepts of price stickiness and the tendency for some in some markets where there are imperfect markets for people to collude and so on. Like they ignore, it's like those things are not in the lexicon at all. Right? So it is our duty to bear all these things in mind when we make decisions. So.
Let's get Mr. Tillett in the conversation. We have here with us Sergio Tillett, and of course, he is the BMDC Senior Projects Manager, and BMDC means Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, also representing the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise. Good morning, Mr. Tillett, and thank you for stopping in and joining us this morning. Now, the conversation that we're having is about the distribution of sugar and, of course, the misconception from the public that the government is essentially responsible for what we are calling the shortage in sugar. What is currently taking place over in your office to ensure that the public understands that this isn't necessarily the case?
Okay, good morning, and thanks for having us here. Like my colleague mentioned earlier, the ministry does a lot when it comes to the supplies and controls. BMDC, as a marketing arm for the Ministry of Agriculture, gets a small portion when it comes to sugar, if that's the issue that is of concern right now. Basically, we want to get like 1% of what BSI supplies for the country. Wow. And this is what we have to distribute between our 4 branches that we have. And that we are looking at roughly about something about 60 bags of sugar per branch per month. So when you look at that amount, we have, like in Belize City alone, we have over 40 active customers that we distribute to, and there are some that come on a time-to-time basis. So if you look at that, we'll be looking at basically 2 sacks per customer that we supply to.
That pales in comparison to the total amount that is produced monthly, seasonally, and what have you.
Indeed.
Is there any way that that can be increased, perhaps by a lobby or by some form of a revision of an arrangement that you guys have?
Isadi, that's a tough question, but I will tell you something that our quota used to be much more, but it was cut down by half by BSI. I don't know how they do their breakdown or how they distribute, but all we know is that we are getting now only 92 tons from August last year to April this year. So that is a very minimal amount, but as BMDC, our job is not sugar. We are there to promote rice, we're there to promote the fruit pulps, we're there to promote the honey. These are the 3 main commodities that we push. Right. Apart from that, we do importation whenever there is not local production. And then sugar is just something that we use on the side to be able to supply to our customers as we get along. So it's not something we get steadily. And you could hear a lot from different customers that come to our branches and say, oh, sometimes when they go, the branch is empty, there's no sugar. But that is not our main business. So we cannot be looked at as the supplier of sugar in the country.
Yes.
I think, Mr. Tillett, one of the things is that in some quarters they were pushing the narrative that somehow BMDC was the cause of the sugar. The mathematics do not support that. How on earth will you drive a shortage on the entire domestic market if you only have 1% of the allocation.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
The math does not work. The business model that they use, because I regulate them as well. So I know they're about bundling products and so on. They will be shooting themselves in the foot if they were to try that. And I know from attending head of department meetings where Mr. Carrillo attends, any sort of behavior in that regard would not be tolerated by any state entity. So it's something that has been pushed by people who have limited familiarity with the subject matter, clueless, right? But one of the things I must say, that there is an enforcement element to this that has to be done, and I don't pass the buck. Responsibility for it rests with me, and I don't cry about resources. You were paid to do a job, you must do a job. And what I will tell you is this, right? Between myself and my inspectors, we've been looking at sugar receipts going on 40 years between the three of us. And there are some people on the list of distributors who, in all our experience inspecting receipts for sugar, we have never seen anybody being supplied by them. Ever.
So it's to suggest that something untoward or dubious is going on.
Perhaps there is some logical explanation, and I intend to find out what that explanation is. And if the explanation is not logical, then we need to deal with it, right? So that is something that we have to do. We are mandated by law to monitor these things, and we need to. So far, our interaction with the distributors, the middlemen, have been limited, and that needs to change. Right, because there isn't a teleport that moved the sugar from Tower Hill to Punta Gorda. Someone has to move it. The dynamic that is involved in that movement has to be looked into. When you made mention of the price and so on and things of that nature, one of the things we insist on is that whenever there's an adjustment in price, we want to know what each element of the distribution chain is reaping from that. And when those elements are not in place, it is hard for us to convince the cabinet to seriously consider any.
So let's step back a bit. I'll get to Sarah here shortly, but I want to go back to something that you just said that sort of sparked a thought in my mind. So these distributors who, as you've mentioned, you cannot necessarily account for who their end customers are. Wouldn't this kind of a scenario lend to the entire idea of the contrabanding of sugar outside of the country?
There are some good questions that need to be asked, and some reasonable responses need to be received. And I generally refrain from giving you a list of, because when you seek to put out a list or just start mentioning names, you might end up including or mentioning people who are compliant and who are just interested in doing legitimate business, along with some people who are
sharing your practices.
Right, and I don't want to put those people in the same boat. I don't even want to mention them in the same sentence. Right. So I am always cautious about when I start calling names and the context in which I call them. When I publish somebody's name, it's because we went there and we have evidence to say that this is the case, and we're sure. Right. We owe that responsibility to business people to be responsible in that way, no? There was a press release put out by BSI suggesting that if any entity is found to be facilitating contraband of sugar, and I'm paraphrasing here, they reserve the right to cut. I don't think the right should be reserved. If you're found to be involved in people,
they should act immediately.
Just immediate. Just cut that off immediately. I think that is necessary. And I will tell you, like I mentioned, resolving the matter requires cooperation from all stakeholders, and I think that it is in that spirit that we should approach the issue as opposed to trying to assign blame.
Let's circle back to Mr. Tillett for a second here. Why is the BMDC, in a sense, limited to rice, beans, and honey, as opposed to perhaps the full basket of Belizean produce?
I mentioned those because those are the main ones that we have year round.
Okay.
When it comes to other produce like carrots, like onions, cabbage, potatoes.
We'll get to the carrots conversation shortly. But yes, go ahead.
No, but what I mentioned is that we deal with a whole lot of vegetables. The government uses BMDC as the one that will monitor better when it comes to permits, because in the past it used to be given to all kind of importers and there was no control, there was no accountability to see what they were bringing into the country. Now, as the BNDC being as part of the Ministry of Agriculture, it's easier to track down. If they give us, let's say, a permit for, let's say, for example, 20,000 sacks, that's exactly what's going to come into the country. Maybe less sometimes, right? Well, the BNDC deals with all other kinds of vegetables. So I hope that answers your question. But the other commodities I mentioned are the three main that we deal with year-round. So that's for sure, that's our products.
And as my colleague mentioned, I mean, one of the conversations that we're also having now is what was described as a wastage of carrots here in Belize. Is there a waste in the production of carrots, or I shouldn't say production, but are our carrots going bad because we're not selling it?
Okay, Sabrina, when it comes to that, the BMDC is given permits to import. Once the local production starts, then we no longer get permits. So we step out of the market, and then the local market takes care of itself. So it's farmers that produce the best quality is going to fetch the best prices. So in that case, it has to be a competition. It's an open market. The farmer that does not probably meet the quality for certain markets is going to get stuck with that product, and there's nothing else we can do at the moment. Although I must mention, last year, the BMDC, along with the Ministry of Agriculture, went to El Salvador. We did all the requirements to have a pest risk analysis done, and there's an open market for Belizean carrots. We managed to achieve that, and we could proudly say that farmers that could find the product, have the quality and the price, can enter the Salvadoran market. It's open. But the thing is that lots of our farmers, due to, I'm not sure, the practices or whatever is done, it might not meet, they cannot compete with price, in other words. So that's the little drawback they have whenever it comes to coming into the market. But there should be no wastage, actually, because the market is there, and we're talking of almost 8 million people in El Salvador that import 85% of what they consume.
I wouldn't want to get into a political conversation where that is concerned, because I know that the opposition has put out a release, and the claims made therein have been refuted by the government, more so the Ministry of Agriculture, where the importation permits are concerned, where prices and that sort of stuff are also concerned. My question has to do with the fact that this has come up within the past 3 years or so. I remember when the area representative for Albert got up in the House, shared her concerns based on what the farmers were telling her, and well, we got a response from the Minister of Agriculture, not so pleasant, but we got a response from him, right? And now it's rearing its ugly head once again. I want to know, is there any truth to that? Because sometimes when you bring up something in Belize, we say they're not so, they're nearly so, right? How would you respond to that?
Okay, well, you said you don't want to carry it political, but to me it sounds all political. The BMDC, as one of the main arms when it comes to distribution and marketing of produce, does its best to ensure that our farmers do have the market whenever they have local production. And as such, our administrator, Mr. Carrillo, has done quite a job to ensure that we do site inspections, we do field visits to ensure that when they have enough production, we don't apply for any permit. And even if we did, the ministry monitors that, and they will never give us either, because they have their extension services that monitor the amount of production in the country. And we have figures as to what is the weekly consumption of every vegetable. So once we notice there's enough in the field, there's no import permit. And that's how we control what is there. So one of the concerns that we have is that lots of the times whenever there's local production, the prices tend to be high. And carrots is not really a necessity. So if consumers, the housewives, notice that the price of carrots went to, like, let's say for example, $4 a pound, I could do without that. I need my beans, I need my rice, those are staples. But carrots, you can substitute that with something else or just cut it all together. And that automatically cuts down the amount of consumption in the country. And it has a trickle-down effect that the farmers tend to sell a lot slower. and they will get stuck with some of the product.
Mr. Nicholson, you're smiling here.
Yeah. There is something he said earlier that should not be missed. He indicated that the permits are not given once local production are in.
Yeah.
But once local production is here, then people have to compete. The licensing regime provides space to local producers, a buffer between them and imports, in that when local production is there, we don't allow the import. But we're not there to pick winners and losers between San Carlos in Orange Walk and maybe a producer in Stan Creek. They're both Belizeans, both setup producers are Belizeans.
Yeah.
So they have to compete among themselves, and that's one of the things that he mentioned. And this idea, the licensing for these products also come out of my office, and I can tell you once local production is in, none is issued.
Yeah.
And there's a process, oftentimes licenses that are applied for by BMDC, the quantities are cut, and in some instances they're not approved outright. So like I mentioned, I indicated earlier, I actually act as a regulator for them as well.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when people suggest that licenses have been issued and you ask, can I see a copy of it? And there is none, right? So there is none. There is some, from time to time, there's a tendency to oversimplify certain things, and it tends to be very complex. No? So the important question would be if producers in, where are the producing regions?
San Carlos is producing Indian Church,
Indian Church. So let's say Indian Church is producing product that is at a better quality level than Indian Church. The role of the Ministry of Agriculture then is to go into Indian Church with their extension people and see how they can assist those farmers in raising their level. You understand? So that is how that would work, but it's not the case that we're giving licenses to anybody to import the product.
I must mention, apart from what Lennox stated a while ago, that whenever there is local production, and let's say, for example, there is only for 2,000 pounds available, and the consumption is 10,000 pounds, BMDC will still step in to buy the product from the local producer and then import the balance to ensure there is no scarcity in the country. We have done that with several groups. We have done that with Bomba Group, for example, with onions when they were phasing out last year. We bought whatever remained from them. And we're talking about thousands of dollars being spent with these cooperatives to try a system so they could have get through their produce faster, and then we buy the remainder and import it to make sure the country has a stable supply of products. So that's something that BMDC is also doing.
Gentlemen, this has been quite an informative segment. I want to say thank you guys so much for stopping by. As we wind down, I'll ask each of you if you have any final thoughts.
Yeah, only to say that cooperation is necessary. There's a time to fight, there's a time to argue, and there's a time to cooperate, right? Our people are not interested in us bickering about the problem. What they want us to do is come to the table, put our heads together, and figure out how to resolve it. That is what is expected of us. And that's why I'm cautious in how I express certain things, because we don't want to poison the well. What we want, what our people expect us to do as professionals, mature professionals, is to work together to ensure that they have an adequate supply of product at a reasonable price. And that is the mandate, and that is the priority of our ministry.
Mr. Tillett?
Okay, well, just to mention that as the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, our task is mainly to deal with different produce to ensure food safety in the country. So when we do importation, it's always considering that there is no local production. We have benefited a lot of farmers in the south. As example, the rice industry. We revived that from basically 300,000 to 1.9 million this past year. And we are working to increase that this coming year. We have helped beekeepers in the north. We have set contracts where we have a secure market for their honey. We also help out all of those when it comes to onion, potatoes. So we work with a whole wide array of farmers. And that's the image that we want to portray all the time, that the BMDC is there to assist farmers, not be seen as the enemy when it comes to like stuff like sugar or the carrots that are in the fields at the moment. So we respect what the farmers are doing, we support them, and we even engage in training to give certain farmers too. So we're there to assist. That's our main goal.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by and giving us some information on what exactly your roles and responsibilities are. Of course, to dispel some of the misconceptions that are currently out on the market, pun intended, and hopefully we can have some better conversations as it relates to this topic now. All right? Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, the conversation switches into managerial women under 30. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Hey Mike, do you have Atlantic Insurance phone number?
What? You don't need that, they have an app? No.
Sure.
With the Atlantic Insurance mobile app, you can request a quote, access your policy information, receive timely notifications of when a policy is about to expire, file a claim and upload pictures, and even view all our office locations, obtain direction, opening hours, and place a call to any of our offices.
That game changer. Correct.
Download the free AIC mobile app today and get instant access to everything you need. Available in the Apple Store and Google Play. For customer support, please call 613-8518 or email mobile support at aicbelize.com. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
La formación del Centro Neurológico del Hospital Galenia es que esas enfermedades que son altamente complejas y que muchos de nuestros pacientes tenían que emigrar hacia otra parte de la República u otra parte de México ahora puedan ser atendidos aquí.
La atención quirúrgica en el centro neurológico se forma dentro de un grupo multidisciplinario que incluye tanto neurólogos, médicos internistas, ortopedistas, neurocirujanos pediatras. Y este esfuerzo que se ha realizado para conjuntar todos los especialistas es para siempre brindar al paciente un abordaje multidisciplinario y transversal.
Evidentemente, mientras más rápido podamos llegar al diagnóstico de los pacientes, más rápido podemos tratarlos, resolverlos y por ende mejor resultado vamos a tener al final. Entonces creo que la prioridad y el fundamento principal de un proyecto como este es justamente eso, que no se pierda tiempo de forma innecesaria para poder al final del día llegar al mejor de los resultados con un tratamiento completo, integral y oportuno.
Y las visiones desde diferentes perspectivas nos permiten tener pues el mejor tratamiento y la mejor opción para el paciente.
Tenemos la capacidad técnica, operativa, profesional y la infraestructura de poder establecer una atención neurológica de alta calidad.
What if I told you that your singing talent can earn you $10,000? And what if I told you that you can stop singing in the shower and sing live on one of the biggest stages in Belize?
I'm gonna love you forever.
Still not sold? Well, what if I told you with all that's offered, you can attract fans and supporters from all over the country? So, are you ready to be part of the most exciting singing competition in Belize? It's time for KTV The Remix Season 6. Auditions will take place on Saturday, June 1st and Sunday, June 2nd. So mark your calendars and come show us how good you are. This is your chance to make it big and win big. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
Welcome back. We are jumping into our second conversation this morning. And as we mentioned, it's all about managerial women under 30. And we have here with us two managerial women under 30 to talk to us about what their experience is like in leadership positions. We have here with us Samari Samos-Diaz, and she is the planning manager for Bowen & Bowen Limited. And next to her is Jacqueline Bradley, and she is the CEO of Retail Value Store, RVS, and Urbina's General Merchandise Limited. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome.
Good morning.
All right, so we have here with us two women in leadership positions. Before we even get into what that is like, I want to get a little bit of an introduction about the work that you do in your respective roles. Let's begin with you.
Well, I manage, it's a family business. We started kind of from the ground up. All we got were buildings and shelving, and I had to start everything with $0. So I am in charge of hiring, training. I am also in charge of purchasing, and I am also in charge of finance. So I do almost everything in the company. I retired both my parents, so I handle everything for both companies. I have branches in Corozal, Orange Rock, San Pedro, and Urbina's General Merchandise is in the Corozal Free Zone aspect. I travel for work, and I basically do. My name is Jacqueline, and I'm a jack of all trades.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to say,
Something
I have
like
to say though, congratulations to you for being able to have your parents now retire and take on their business. I think that's a dream for a lot of parents.
Yes, and now they're new grandparents, so they're quite happy about that.
All right,
too.
they got a new job now.
Yes.
Let's get you in the conversation, Summary. What's your experience like?
I need to apologize because I lost my voice. I'm very sick, but I'm the planning manager at Bowen & Bowen, and I oversee the warehousing, production planning, material planning up at the factory for all production lines. Yeah.
Okay, so let's begin by talking about how you got to where you are respectively in your lines of work. I know for you, Jacqueline, you've explained retiring your parents and moving up.
Well, I started from, my dad is a firm believer of you work hard. You don't just get this position because you are my daughter.
It's not just handed to you.
I started mopping floors, and I worked my way up, honestly. He told me, all right, well, if you want to be up here, you need to learn how to do everything down here. So I started from the ground up. I started mopping floors. Eventually, I started stocking shelves. From there, I moved up to a cashier, and from there, eventually, my dad said, "Sabiske, well, you can be now a supervisor, not even a manager yet." So they put me in a supervisor position, and from there, I earned my way up through the company, and that's where I am where I am now.
What has that experience been like for you in terms of perhaps the values you've learned and the appreciation you have for working from the ground up?
Oh, I love it genuinely, and that's where I have seen potential in a lot of people. I am young, so I actually try to give young people that advantage, that opportunity that they don't have any experience. I didn't have any experience either. And I see something in them in their work ethic, and I try to make them grow out of that. And a lot of managers that I currently have right now, they don't even have an education really, but they had the drive, the willingness to work. I saw that in them, and I trained them in everything else that they needed to manage a store properly.
Can I ask how old you are?
I'm just turned 29.
All right.
I just turned 29, yes.
All right.
Let's hear from you, Samari. Bowen & Bowen is a pretty huge company.
Yeah.
You're a manager there.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you?
So I think it's been a humbling experience for me. I used to go to school at night, work during the day. So I basically started working from when I was like 17. And so used my time wisely, made a lot of sacrifices in order to be educated at the same time, having that work experience. And then I wasn't really looking, my goal wasn't to be a manager, but to just continue learning and to be understanding of the diversity in the company too, because we have a lot of mixed, well, everywhere in Belize, everyone's diverse, right? So it's just been an opportunity. Doors were open for me, and I took the opportunity. I was very open-minded and always had a positive mindset at work, at school, outside of school and work. So it's basically just a work-life balance.
I think one of the challenges that you'd hear from young leaders or young people in leadership position is the respect that they try to maintain in the workplace. And even if you add being a female to that, I think it gets probably even more challenging. Is that fair to say, ladies?
Yes, I think so. In every work environment, you will face challenges. Being a woman, being young, having older people in your team as well, that's, I think it boils down to open communication and being respectful. And so for me, that has maintained and has led me a long way, having respect.
Yeah. What has your experience been like?
When I first took over a higher management position, a lot of the managers that were in place back then, they were older than me, and I mean, I guess you can say they were more experienced, but how to say it? They wouldn't take advice from somebody that's younger than them, because I mean, we're a new generation of females, and I'm trying to bring something new. I'm trying to teach you new methods, how to do things and so forth. And I've outright been told, well, you too young, you don't know nothing, right? And it took a lot. It's very demeaning in a way that they take your age above all things, because I come from, I mean, it's very different between her and I, because I come with experience from my parents. They taught me everything that I know, and as well I've applied my own experience there. And like I always tell the managers that I currently have, I don't know everything. We are learning as we go, because every day something new comes up. It's ever changing, so there's no one right way to do something. Yeah.
In your case, Jacqueline, you are responsible for everything, every aspect of the company, profits and losses, procurement, everything. So I would say then, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right?
Yeah.
What has that?
White hair.
And the white hair at 29.
At 29.
What has that been like for you? The weight of the responsibility, and perhaps being able to deliver on all the expectations, not only of your parents, but yourself and the people who are working under you.
Yeah, and my customers and everything. And a lot of people don't know what happens behind the scenes, how a company functions, if we are having a good year or a bad year and so forth. People just judge you based on what's happening in store. And I mean, I will admit my company has struggled a bit for the past year. I went on maternity leave, and I kind of disappeared for like 2 months. I couldn't even complete my entire maternity leave, and I had to come back because if I'm not there, things aren't running properly.
Yeah.
It's that type of business that I'm in, and I mean, it's good in a way, but it's bad in a sense. I work 24/7 essentially, but I like it. I like the benefits that I reap from it. I like the experience. I really do like what I do. I am passionate about it, especially in part of importing merchandise. I travel abroad to purchase merchandise for the store, so I do all those things. And actually, internationally, I have received that type of that because I'm young and I'm a female, that they kind of cast me on a side, really and truly.
Really?
I have honestly, and I've had to request I had a male vendor that attended to me, and he didn't pay me any mind. He would be on his phone. He said, well, oh, you don't know what you're doing, like blatantly. And I had to request from upper management there where I buy to please kindly change me to a female, because I refuse to work with somebody like that.
That brings about an interesting conversation that we oftentimes have when we talk about women in leadership roles. There are a lot of times misconceptions about women in leadership positions. What have you experienced or heard about women in these roles?
Well, the type of work that I do, especially in terms of purchasing, it's very male dominant. When I travel, you see females with their husbands traveling, but it's the husband that's doing most of these transactions. They're the ones doing the orders. They're the head. They do everything, finance everything. They kind of just go traveling with their husband. Really, no, I don't do that.
Becomes sort of like the figurehead.
Yes, exactly. And they kind of, I've been approached as well. Oh, where is your husband?
Where's your husband?
Like I've been told that I lie, that I'm the one that actually is in charge here, that it is my husband, and I'm kind of just here to look pretty at the store as well. So, and my husband doesn't even have anything to do with my business. He has his own business on the side. So, yeah, I've had that internationally and locally as well.
How do you navigate that space as a woman, though? Because it would seem somewhat stereotypical and discriminatory.
It is very much so.
I would presume that those are two of your biggest challenges. How do you navigate that?
I try to find, like, for example, where I was saying that I had to request for a female to attend to me. I've had to find other sources in those same companies where I buy from. I try to find someone that doesn't have that type of attitude towards me, and then I stick to them. And if the company tries to, say, okay, this is the person that is in charge of Belize, she cannot attend to you, I say, well, I cannot buy from you if she doesn't attend to me, and I stand my ground on what I need to be, how I want to be treated. And that's how I've navigated through it, and I've found that, especially for the last 2 years, it has helped me, honestly.
What's your experience like, Samari, navigating the misconceptions about what people believe the characteristics of women are in leadership?
I think it's very admirable. I'm 28 years old. I don't have kids, but there are women who have kids who are leaders in the company, CEOs, CFOs, general managers, and those are the mentors that I look up to, because people have a misconception that you need to be at home with your kids, but they're doing it all, and I think that's that's a strength in the company, outside of the company as well at home. So I really have a lot of respect for women in power.
And with you ladies now really giving us examples of what can take place when you put women in leadership roles, when you put young women in leadership roles. Have you heard anything from other younger women or even men around you about the inspiration that your contribution provides to your respective organizations?
I have. I think, I more see it from like a family. I have a bunch of like little female cousins, and they do admire me for being the boss lady. Her being the boss lady, and that they say they want to be that, because they see how now I'm a new mom, how I have found balance between both working and being a mom as well, and having everything takes sacrifice, but I've tried to find a balance between it all. So even traveling and so forth, I'm trying to take my baby with me in terms of traveling, so then I don't, and my baby doesn't have abandonment issues in the future.
Nice.
Yeah. And yourself? What was the question? No, have you heard any feedback from persons who observed what an impact your responsibility or your role has brought as a woman, as a young woman in a leadership position?
I think I'm fortunate that I have a good team. I work at the factory, so it's very male dominated there. And I've always had the support from management, always had the support from my team, and as well, you know, the people that do look up to what I do. I just hope that I continue to respect myself and stand my ground and say what I mean, do what I say I do, right? And it's just to maintain that image in life throughout my entire journey, right?
How would you measure your professional growth thus far for both of you ladies, and what are your ambitions beyond where you presently are? I don't know if it goes higher than CEO for you. Maybe you can open more branches across the country, perhaps. But in your case, Samari, what are your goals?
In my case, I love everything. I love working. I love learning. So knowledge is power, and I really take advantage of that. I have my master's in project management, but I am in the supply chain industry, so that has caught my eye to continue learning supply chain as well. Projects is my passion, so I do love that as well. So for me, my career, I feel like it's going to continue growing. I'm going to continue leveling up with my education and with my work.
Yes. Yourself, Jacqueline?
I would like to just open one more branch because I don't think that I myself can handle more than 5 branches. Yeah. But the goal, honestly, is to hopefully be able to leave something for my children. And if not, if that's something that they don't want, then who am I? Who am I? Because I'll live it there and it will be in good standing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, ladies, before we wrap up, I want to give you guys the opportunity to share some final words with our viewers. Let's send this one to the little girls that are viewing and are thinking, hey, I can be exactly what these ladies are being.
For me, to stay positive and have an open mind. Always be open-minded and take the opportunity when it presents itself.
I think as a female in power, take it to your advantage. You can, honestly, you can do whatever you want. Education does not limit you. It helps you. It definitely helps you, but education does not limit you. So never allow someone to say that because you're uneducated, you cannot achieve your dreams. No, you can achieve them, trust me. And start from the ground up, humble yourself. I have, honestly. So just, you can do it, honestly. And I mean, I've seen it personally that females are I mean, they're a little bit over 30, but I have seen a lot more managers now being female versus male in almost all industries, honestly. So yeah, we did a good. We did a good.
We did a good. Well, ladies, thank you so much for stopping by, giving us a bit of your journey in leadership, and of course, we wish you all the best.
Thanks so much.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by the folks from the Kidney Association to talk to us about an upcoming fundraiser. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
My name is Leomar Langzert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa. And for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
No, I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
What if I told you that your singing talent can earn you $10,000? And what if I told you that you can stop singing in the shower and sing live on one of the biggest stages in Belize?
Let's go! I'm gonna love you forever.
Still not sold? Well, what if I told you with all that's offered, you can attract fans and supporters from all over the country? So, are you ready to be part of the most exciting singing competition in Belize? It's time for KTV The Remix, Season 6. Auditions will take place on Saturday, June 1st and Sunday, June 2nd. So mark your calendars and come show us how good you are. This is your chance to make it big and win big. KTV The Remix, Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
Welcome back. For our third and final conversation of the morning, we have been joined by the Belize Kidney Association. They're here this morning to discuss an upcoming fundraiser that they're doing. We have been joined by the treasurer and past president of the Kidney Association, none other than Ruby Nicholas. Good morning, Ms. Nicholas.
Good morning.
And she is joined by my good friend, Delton Stone Mariano. He's a fitness trainer. Whenever you see Stone, you think about getting in shape. Right? Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, guys, and thanks for joining us.
Yes, let's talk first of all about the continued efforts of the Kidney Association to raise awareness, first of all, about the various diseases that are associated with the kidney.
Yes, we are trying our best to champion the cause of the Kidney Association of Belize because we see the need for it. We have so many persons out there who have been diagnosed with kidney disease and eventually with kidney failure and having to do dialysis. So the work that we do fundraising like the one that we're doing today. We're going to be discussing We also do health fairs throughout the country of Belize with the support of the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, and then we also do assistance in supporting patients who are in need of dialysis in many ways, and that's the reason why we're here to do this fundraising.
I was just saying, Miss Ruby, that I think the work of the Kidney Association is so important because when we think of kidney disease or kidney failure, we think of one issue there, but oftentimes we forget that there are so many other diseases that could potentially lead to that. I mean, we're talking lupus, we were talking diabetes, cancer even. Can we hone in a bit on that? Some of the diseases that can lead to your kidneys being affected.
Okay, we have done several studies in the sense of based on those who have come to the Kidney Association for assistance due to kidney failure. And the main cause in Belize City at this moment is diabetes and hypertension. When we do our surveys or when they come to us and we say, well, what was the factor that have affected you for your kidney to fail? The number one is diabetes and the second one is hypertension. But then there are other areas, as what you have mentioned, like lupus, kidney stone.
Yes.
Even the fact that you uncontrolled urinary tract infection, that could also be an effect on your kidneys. The doctors state that there are all other like autoimmune diseases out there, but for us, we know that there are others like the cancer as well, but for us, we try our best to try and focus on the diabetes and the hypertension because we know that that's the leading cause here in the country of Belize.
Yes.
Let's get Stone in on the conversation. What brought about your effort to volunteer and give of yourself to the association in its efforts?
What happened is when it comes to anything related to health and fitness, I'm in for that. With the Cancer Society, the lupus, the diabetes, I can't remember all the others, but all these diseases out there, and then they want to do anything we have to do with health and fitness, we participate. You know, we focus on the health and the fitness part, and the thing is, a lot of people want to start health and fitness after they get or diagnosed with one of these illnesses.
That's very true.
So we try to push the message that look, start your health and fitness one time before you even have to get to that, before you even have to reach the medic, you know, and that's one of how we message with a push. However, the message not to come out loud and clear. So when we get invited to these things, it gives us that platform, and like today we're out here and we could continue to help spread the message.
Mr. Mariano, how does fitness tie into ensuring that your kidneys are well?
This has to do with a lot of stuff, a lot of variables. Eating healthy is one of the big one. I know in Belize we love our sugar,
salt
we love
too.
our salt,
Yeah.
right? Even liquor, right? And all these things, they have a negative side effect. So we push that, like with my health and fitness program, we introduce a style how we eat.
Yeah.
And once you control that, I have a 21-day program, and you control your eating for 21 days. You want to see, and this is so serious. You will see a drastic change in your body, the metabolism change, everything change. So it starts from the eating, and then the workout come in just as well.
So, aside from the upcoming fundraiser, what else has the Kidney Association been up to?
Well, what we have been doing twofold. One, we have been focusing on fundraising, and the other one is focusing on health and spreading the word out there. So what we've been doing under the health aspect of it In March, we had our gigantic, great health fair where we invited all the health facilitators along with the Kidney Association of Belize for the public to have known their health. And there we did the creatinine, the bone testing. We had doctors there. We tested your diabetes, HIV, high blood pressure. And that is something that we are championing whenever we go to other health urinalysis tests as well. So that is under the health aspect of it. And then also under the fundraising aspect, we are trying to do events like today and also trying to raise funds through asking for support from businesses out there. Because without that lack of funding, then it allows us not to do the ultimate plan and objective of the association, and one of it is primarily to assist the kidney patients and educational awareness. So those are the areas that we are focusing on.
As treasurer and past president of the Kidney Association, I have to ask you, where did your interest in the work of the association come from?
What happened is that I had a close friend of mine. She was diagnosed with kidney failure, and at that time she had a kidney transplant. So I got immediately involved to support her in trying to work on the kidney, getting the kidney transplant, and it's not done in Belize. So she was taken abroad, and when she came back, I journeyed that journey with her, and that's how I came involved with the Kidney Association of Belize. At that time, I was just a volunteer, then I became a part of the board, and then from there I ended up being a president. But because of the work that we are doing and I love so much, I stayed and I said, okay, I'll because you can't be the president forever, I don't mind taking a lower position, so that's why I end up being the treasurer.
How rewarding or fulfilling has this journey been for you?
It has been because we have seen persons transition from not having to having, being educated on the disease. People coming up to you and say, you have made a difference in assisting and supporting us. It has also been saddened because we have had a lot of persons who come to you and say, I can't afford the dialysis, I don't want to die, especially early on in the whole process, and they would end up passing away. So that is the disheartening part of it. But in the end, you stick and you hold on to the faith that it's going to be something rewarding, not for yourself, but for the general public out there. And we want to be known bigger and support at a larger scale. Yes.
I want to get Mr. Mariano back in the conversation because you mentioned the importance of eating a certain way and how your program can support that to protect our kidneys, to maintain our kidneys in the best possible shape. What would be some of the foods that you'd recommend persons to eat more of, or drinks that you'd recommend them to consume more of to protect their kidneys?
Right. Arafa, Griga. Dangriga. Just naturally, I love coconut water. Right? I never understand that they have anything to do with, help with the kidney. But as I deal with exercise for an everyday basis, you learn that coconut water is one of the best things to drink. Right? You have the electrolytes and other good stuff. So I recommend if you could drink coconut water every day, go ahead. The regular crystal, drink your water and stay hydrated daily. My diet very simple. I stay green. I'm not a vegetarian or how they call it, others that are strictly
pescatarian, a vegan.
Vegan. I don't know. I still eat my meat just because I eat not so much of it. So I just get a little bit of everything. I stay mostly green I'm mostly into fruit salad. So I eat my fruit salad and shakes. So right around that, you're good to go. You're on the safe side. Anyway, you check it, you're on the safe side. You know. So
how do your so you do a lot of classes and courses in terms of fitness with all of these people who join on to your program.
Right.
How do you impart these important messages to them about eating well?
What happens is, as you start the program, you have 30 days to prove yourself, say if you're serious about the workout. After you pass 30 days, and I convinced that you're serious about the workout, then I bring in the food, how you eat, how you check the water. I have one thing we name Water Miracle. I explain how you go about doing the Water Miracle, how you go about eating daily. From that 30 days, and you hit into that, everything is like magic after that. And it's hard to make people understand it until you complete that 30 days. Then you will say, oh, all right, this is the way I'm about, and everything start flow. That's one system, everything is a system. You just can't get up one day and say, I want to do it, and expect it to work, because you will have failures. I mean, exercise is not easy, exercise is the hard work. It's all about determination, dedication, and discipline. And if you don't have the 3 Ds, I call it the 3 Ds, determination, dedication, and discipline. If you don't have it, you bound to meet a lot of obstacles and you almost might fail.
So this program that you provide, is it something that is available to persons to work with you in person, or is it online?
It's in person. Right now, in person, I feel like I more could get through to you in person. I like that one-on-one basis. Because people always have questions. You know, sometimes questions pop up right on spot. So I address it right there and then, and I think we accomplish a lot more that way.
Well, we do have a fundraiser coming up.
Yes.
So let's talk about what we want the public to know as it relates to projects and, of course, how they can support the association.
Okay. We have joined forces with Mr. Mariano Stonefit, and June 1st, save the date, June 1st, we're having an early morning workout.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, it's going to be 1 hour of workout, and it's we call it jump up for kidney. So the jump up is where Mr. Mariano comes in, and kidney is more a healthier aspect of that jump up. It's going to be, we will be registering at 5:30 in the morning, and it will finish at around 7:30. So we are inviting the entire public to be at Memorial Park on June 1st. And so in order for us to be supported, we're asking that all adults be given a contribution of $10, and for the students, if they bring their ID and children, $5. So you can bring your entire family out there. For the first 50 person who comes, they will get a special token of appreciation from the Kidney Association of Belize, or additional to that, while supplies last. Then we also will, whoever comes will be getting a small ticket for a prize. And if you want to increase your chance, you can maybe pay an additional $1. All this is for us to, 1, bring awareness to health, and 2, bring awareness for fundraising. So we are trying to marry the 2 in order for us to be able to be successful in this event. We have had several events out there, but this one we are trying to champion in with Mr. Mariano Stonefit, because we see the need for health, fitness, and health to marry together for the better Belize.
So this is a wonderful collaboration. I have to congratulate you guys on that, first of all. But I also want to know, what are some of the supports that the Kidney Association needs? What are some of the resources that this fundraising event will help you guys to achieve?
Okay, our number 1, as always, have been that any patients who rapport at our door are not turned away. And there have been instances where we would have to tell them, at this point in time, we would have to write your name down on a list and then call you later. So an event like this will allow us to be viable financially, because everything that we do is finance-based.
Yeah.
Because a dialysis is $200, and we
Per
have
session.
per session, and a person to have an optimum health, they need 3. So that's $600
For the
week.
For the week.
For the week, yes.
Wow.
So that is one area. And then the other area is the educational awareness of it, whereby we do testing for urinalysis. We go out and to the country of Belize to try and bring awareness of this disease. We also have the Dr. Hyde, that comes 4 times for the year. And so we would assign patients who are at risk of kidney disease to see the doctor. So this fundraising is very essential for us, especially in the area of assisting the kidney patients.
There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of people to help. Again, though, I just have to say thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing, and congratulations again for the collaboration. I'm hoping that people will use this opportunity to be proactive when it comes to their health, because you made an excellent point, Mr. Mariano, when you said that a lot of times people decide to think about health and fitness after they're at a point of ailment. After my back may hurt, me leave it, and my knee they hurt, I think about maybe I'm gaining a little bit too much weight. And that's when they decide to jump into it, and it gets even harder to get the results that you want. So I have to commend you for partnering and volunteering with the association in this way. If anyone would like to reach out to you personally, Mr. Mariano, do you have a contact that they can do so?
Yes, I have on Facebook. You can always reach me on Stone Fit Mariano, and also Stone Fit Club, Stone Fit Nation. That's my page, and the number to reach 610-9115. You can always reach at that number, 610-9115.
And Ms. Nicholas, if anyone would like to reach out to the Kidney Association to pledge their support, how can they do so?
They can call Ms. Anna, the administrator, 615-6861. They can also call the office, 222-5618. They can also call myself, Ruben Nicholas, 615-3532. And they can also call 614-1127. And if we have a person out there who would like to contribute to the Kidney Association of Belize, we do have our Atlantic Bank account, Kidney Association of Belize, 100-321-028. We are accepting the contribution for $10 using the DigiWallet merchant. So they can call us, contact us, and they can do their payment through the DigiWallet before they reach out there.
Excellent.
Yes.
Ease of transactions.
Easy transactions. So
All right.
we want to be grateful. We're grateful for that.
Well, I have to say thank you guys again so much for stopping by, giving us an update on what you guys are doing, and of course, how people can support and be proactive with their health as well.
Yes.
All right. All the best and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we wrap things up.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speed flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad, rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
No, I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
Hi, my name is Leah Mangar, and I am currently the Administrative Assistant at Yasche Conservation Trust here in beautiful Punta Gorda. I received the Social Security Board Scholarship in the year of 2021. After I was told that I was a successful recipient of this scholarship, I was very grateful. This scholarship has assisted me in various ways. Firstly, it relieved me of financial constraints. So that was the main obstacle that was keeping me back. But receiving this scholarship allowed me to gain the skills and the knowledge that I needed to attain the job that I currently have. I would just encourage you all to apply to the scholarship, and the process is very, very easy. You will find a link and it will direct you to everything that you need in order to submit your application. And once you submit it, pray and just hope for the best, because you just will never know if you can get it.
Hi, my name is Lincoln Fowers and I work at UMall. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money and gas price, because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Welcome back, and thanks for sticking with us. We had a wonderful show lineup this morning, Isani. It's our Thursday episode, and of course, we want to thank all of our guests who stopped by. But a special thank you to you guys for tuning in with us. It is May the 23rd, and if you are celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. And if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ, as well as Instagram at OYEBelize. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow as you open your eyes
to start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart open.
Have a wonderful Thursday.
Was brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank,
Our country, your bank.